Not a National Corvette Museum, but the National Corvette Museum. Several new ones sitting out here in the lobby. They have a Corvette store, restaurant, conference center. You can choose to have your delivery right here at the Corvette Museum when you buy one. And it's really cool. They drive the car right up the middle. You're the first person who drives it. Comes right out down this line right here. Goes down that hallway. And if you'll notice, there's a banner up there that says "Enjoy the ride." Yeah, right outside that door. You put its first mile on it. Oh, I love this color. Hi. Must be pretty cool being Joseph. Ooh, red mist, Z06 convertible. Corvette Museum Library and Archives. If you're wanting to do some research of your car or of race cars, of something you're looking at buying. They just bought that. Well, they bought it a long time ago. It just got in and they're taking delivery. They're in there looking at all the gauges and giggling right now. Ooh, this is the raffle car they just gave away. They do this really often. Just look on their website. Okay, James Pierce raffle winner, White Pearl 70th anniversary Corvette convertible. So they give away the nice ones. Now, if we look over in here, these are the ones that are going to be delivered to their new owner soon. They're just getting, final prep and stuff like that. And like I said, you can have an option of having it delivered here. Stingray grill. Bill Mitchell. Google that name and see some of the designs he did back in the day, like that the Stingray XP87 right there. Zora Arkus Duntov drove a whole bunch of those early design cars and race cars. The main names when it comes to the earlier vets are Bill Mitchell, Larry Shinoda, Zora Arkus Duntov, Harley Earl. Legendary. If you want anything at all with Corvette on it, and I'm talking anything. It's your girlfriend. I'm gonna have to put this camera down for a minute and see what I want. Got the t-shirts in the car. Now I'm checking out the actual museum. Chassis 003. Blue Flame 6, Weber side drafts, Polo white, Sportsman red interior. You gotta see this over here. That's how they start making the car get a styrofoam base. Well, at least how they did back then. and put clay on top. The first Firebird. Not like 67 Firebird, but concept car. '50th anniversary edition. 88 back over there. 78 over here. The reason that sign is important is a Motorama of 53 is where the very first Corvette, or what they called an XP300 at the time, debuted. There's the doors walking in. Now this is not just a Chevy video. I think you'll like this too. Look at that. The Corvette is the reason for the T-Bird. Kind of like the Mustang is the reason for the Camaro. That's the truth. And now my hero here. Our boy Zora.
In accordance with his wishes, his ashes were interned at the museum, close to the Corvettes he loved.
If you've heard about the mid-engine design of the C8 being something that's new and it was never thought about, well, that's wrong, because Zora was thinking about that a long time ago.
Thanks, Zora.
You want to know how much he is a part of what we're looking at? Those are his ashes.
Born in Belgium and raised in Leningrad, Duntov had a rich and exciting life prior to joining General Motors. In the 50s, he was a chief engineer for the British race.
Here's the first one. This one right here has a very cool story. It's what they call the entombed Corvette. This guy built his entire house around it, just totally, really, honestly, he just built his entire house around this car as soon as he got it. And that's it. That's why they have this brick wall facade here. It says on the wall, the entombed Corvette. In 1954, Richard Sampson, of Maine, bought a brand new 54 Corvette, drove the Corvette for almost 5 years. Okay, he didn't put it in there when it was new, but in '59, his wife didn't enjoy riding in it, so he buried it in a brick room in his house. I guess it's better than burying the wife, right? That color over there, that's fawn beige, which I believe is about the most beautiful color ever put on a Corvette. The black one back in there, the 57 first year for ramjet fuel injection, mechanical fuel injection that actually is so expensive these days because people took them off because they didn't work very well. Oh yeah. Now, Zora Arkus Duntov, the guy we saw the picture in the ashes of earlier, this may look like it's a Hemi, but it's actually not what you're thinking. R. Dunn, New York, what's on the valve cover there, is short for Zora Arkus Duntov. This was an overhead valve conversion that he designed and built for flathead engines. See, he was doing this a long time before a lot of other people. It would have been starting with that. And then you bolt that top end, convert it to overhead valves, and it made a whole lot more power, flowed a lot better. And the small block Chevy ramjet fuel injection. Most of them were not painted on the actual intake plenum up there. This is just to make it stand out a little better, but that one right there is a legend. Came out the first time in a 57 Corvette, also available in a Bel Air that year, which is even more rare. And the marriage of the body and the frame. A couple of 73s here. First one convertible. Second one a convertible also. Yeah. That's how they went down the line, though. That's how they still do it to this day. The body is floating along several feet above the chassis, and it's all joined together. 73 Marriage Corvette. In the mid-years, 63 to 67. These arguably the most legendary of all the Corvettes. First, in this era here, you had first four-wheel disc brakes. You had the first big block. You had the first 427. You had big power, 435 horsepower in a 427 in 67. First year for a 396, and the only year for a 396 was in a 65. Got a race area coming around the corner. That right there, once again, is Zora Arkus Duntov. You're going to hear that name and see that likeness several times here. He's holding a cam that he designed called a Duntov 3030 cam. And he himself raced. Let's get over here and I'll show you. That's Zora Arkus Duntov's racing suit. He himself got in these cars and did all these crazy big things. He didn't watch somebody else do it. Occasionally he did, but most of the time he was in it. 56 or 7 race car. 57. 62. You can always tell the 62 because those side vents. See right there, a whole bunch of little lines. This is the only year between 58 and 62 had a whole bunch of lines like that. All the other ones had just a few, like 3 or 5. 63 split window coupe race car. You can always tell the split coupe, obviously, because of that big divider in the back window, but also because of those little grills on the windshield. C3. (1973). You can always tell a 73 also because plastic front end and a chrome bumper if it's stock. Oh, it looks like a Bonneville kind of car here. Yeah, braking at Bonneville. Showing the parachutes. Look how smooth that shape is, and those lines that are on the roof, can you make out those, just those little ridges there? Those little ridges just keep it straight. For a few years, when this body style came out of the C4, they had a racing, basically a, oh geez, what would I call it? A racing division that was called the Corvette Challenge, because when the C4 first came out, it was pretty superior to a lot of other cars out there that would have been in the same class. So they kind of had to do their own thing for a few years, and that's what that car is. World record run, 1989 ZR1. ZR1's always out there putting some big numbers down. C5R, one of the race cars. Notice the single windshield wiper instead of 2. Gran Turismo driving simulator? Now there, I made reference to that divider on the back window, making it a split window coupe. That's exactly what we're talking about. Zora Arkus Duntov, once again, hated that because it impeded vision out the back of the car. So this is the only year it was on there. He succeeded in having it removed the next year for 64. That's a fuel injected car. Now this is getting into some pretty legendary stuff here. The 57 Corvette SS. Zora Arkus Duntov and Harley Earl came together and built this thing, and Zora raced it. And
the first was Harley Earl. He was the one who created.
You'll hear the PA system in the background, but this car, oh, it is so Jaguar XKE looking in person, which a lot of you may or may not know, but the C8, the guys at GM got a Ferrari 458 and said, make me one of those, which you can tell by looking at this. They got an XKE Jag and said, make me one of those. Obviously a little more power in the American version. This may be my favorite of all time. This one's a legend here. The manta ray. You see so many things that on this prototype showed up later on in different body styles, the side pipes, the tires, the way the T-top roof is. Although this is a one piece, that's not T-top, but I'm just going to let you look at this as it spins. That engine badge up there does say ZL1, all aluminum big block. See, it's just kind of a crazier version of like the first 68 Vet. Everything a little crazier. And one of my favorite parts of this is on the front. Look how these headlights are made in there. 3 beams on each side. Twin holes in the hood. I never noticed that. See that? And one over there. First time seeing that. What a gorgeous car. See the vents down low there? Everything to make it look a little more fishy. Including that logo that shows up on the C8. A very similar version, but in this case for the Manta Ray concept car. See that really small hole there on the back of the door for the key? That little bitty mirror up there. Oh, we can see the interior a bit. So cool. In 1996, there was a Grand Sport version of the Corvette, and this is a model of it. The Grand Sport had an LT4 engine, which is actually pretty rare. At the time, the engine was 330 horse if it was an LT1, and this was the LT1 was 300 horse, and this one was 330 horse. More torque, too. Look at that. 2019 C7 ZR1. A lot of people think this is probably the best ZR1 that's ever been built, maybe the best Corvette that's ever been built. It says here, this one, Sebring Orange ZR1. Oh, poor critter, he only has 755 horsepower. How's he gonna merge with traffic? Monster Mammoth wing, which in this case works. Mocking up the interior. I love these. This is a full-scale clay model. That's not a car, that's just clay. That's why they have the hood taped on. Isn't it wild to think that that is not a real car? There's no interior, there's no drivetrain, there's no suspension, there's just nothing. And the brand new C8 engine. A spiffy new clutch assembly. See what we have hidden back in the garage here. There's always some really cool stuff just kind of tucked back in the corners here. And today is no exception. And a race car over there. 74 up on the rack. Guys, if you ever want to identify a 74 conclusively, unless they've changed the bumper, see that divider in the back bumper there, right down the middle of the line goes up and down? Also, you're thinking, that's just a 74 Vet. No, that was Zora's personal 74 Vet. See the dark blue on the top? It has ZAD on the driver's side door. That car's a freaking legend. Not necessarily for being fast, but the fact that it was Zora's car. Can't get much cooler than that. Look at what I just spotted over there. That is a C4 ZR1 engine with a turbo hanging off the side of it. The heck is that? That would have been 90 to 95 ZR1, and yet it's got a turbo hanging off the side. That's cool. Let's see this a little closer. Hand-built double overhead cam LT655. That's that flat plane crankshaft. 670 horse in the C8 Z06. It's a bad hombre right there. Now, time to go into the Sky Dome sinkhole experience. I was in here several times before, right after. And this is a trip.
Someone shared with me that they thought the value was around $1 million.
Here we go. There's the part that fell apart that kind of explains how it happened, but what we really want to do is come around here and see this. This is all new since I've been here. Tell you what, if you're a vet guy, when I first came up here and I saw all the devastation and damage, it broke my heart. Pretty cool room coming up. See all those names up there? Oh, there's Zora again. But it goes all the way around. Everybody who has any sort of impact on this, the men and women over the decades. And there's the big spire that you see as you drive by. First generation 53 to 55 right there. The 55, the only way you'll really know that it is where it says Chevrolet on the side there. They went to a V8 that was available, and the V in Chevrolet would be gold and larger than the other letters. Next to it, another 62. Like I told you, that side vent has all the, almost like a comb sort of vent on the side. And a legendary car for the Corvettes. A big block 4-speed convertible Stingray. Marina blue is that color. And if you had marina blue, you had to get the white interior. Duh. Really rare car here. This was sitting in the other part of the museum for a long time. It's 1955, and like I told you about the thing with the, you could tell if it's a V8 car. Look at the logo. See the big V? That is how we know that there's a V8 in that car. The color on this is kind of a story in itself. You guys really need to just check out the website for this place. C6 Z06, 505 horse. A lot of people think the C6 Z06 is the best. I think the C5 Z06, but I may just think that because I've never owned. I've just had the C5 Z06. All the other ones have been base cars and convertibles. And 69 Vet, that's also another legend. Removable top. It's a big block 4-speed car. That's a 435 horsepower car. I always like those little, see the insets on the side vent? They break up that panel so nicely there. 82, a lot of you think that 84 was the only year that had the crossfire injection, but it actually came in an 82 as well. This is what they called the collector's edition. This car is really cool because see how the vent on the side, the paint just kind of fades into the lighter color. Now that's just a sticker. However, there are other things here. The seats in these cars, and we're not going to be able to tell here, but they do a fade that just gradually goes from light to dark as you go from the top to the bottom. And that wheel was only on that car too. That's an 82. The very last and this might get some of you guys, the very last manual transmission C7 Stingray ever. Oof. Love these cars. This is going to be a 92 to 94 because of the way the side vent is made. The millionth Corvette. Now the interesting part about this car is that when this place caved in, this car was trashed. There's the car. And there it is again. It's pretty cool when you get it rebuilt by the actual factory that built it. Got 1 millionth Corvette on the seat. Now these coming down through here like that one is just, there are a lot of special cars in here that I'm not going to really get into, but this one right here, the Astrovette. I like this car so much, and one of the reasons I do is because I have some old Hasbro toys that are Astrovettes that ride along on a track, and they're in this body style. This is just a prototype, you couldn't buy it. This was basically an exercise in aerodynamics. And one of the coolest parts is the emblem on the front that's painted on. That's not a graphic. Just freehanded. But look at the hood and the windshield and little flap over the back. Bonneville salt flat looking caps. I love this car. Another point of contention, a lot of Corvette people say there was never an 83, and other people say, well, there was an 83. Well, what really happened was in March of 1983, Chevrolet allowed you to buy an 84 Corvette. So you theoretically had a new 84 Corvette for 2 years. And they kind of wanted to just go ahead and debut this body style. This one, you know, it's sitting right here in the museum. It's not like it's out on the road. So both of you are right. If you think there was one and if you think there wasn't one. The two-rotor. I remember this one. 1973, the year when everybody was just trying to come up with new ways to save gas. And this is called the XP 987 GT. It says two-rotor up on the bumper there. This car from the side is so beautiful. Let's see if I can get a good side shot here. Look at that. But that is a rotary engine. Split windshield. That's so cool. That is so cool. And a right-hand drive C8. Brand new 2023 Z06. I think that's bright enough. It's even brighter in person. Oh, here's another one too. See how it has that big cut right there? Now, arguably, this area down through here appeared to be too long to me, but there's a reason for it. There's an engine back there. The dash really different from what you would imagine. I'm gonna try to get us up in there. Look at that little pad right there. That's a full-blown racing seat in there. That's kind of wild. The XP819 experimental. See those lines like on the Manta Ray from earlier? Flip up headlights. Sign of things to come. And that dip down grill on the hood. Well, actually, it's a clamshell hood. The whole thing comes up, but this was 1965 and had a power glide with a 327 in it. Look at how that sits right there. It almost looks like a drag car. See the wheels? They have a, it's almost like they use in drag racing. The wheel locks, bolt them down, and it keeps the bead of the tire in there. Gorgeous 427. 67. What's this, a 77? Okay, so the last year of the flat back glass. Arguably, you know, not crazy high dollar car or anything. They just called it dark blue paint in 73. at 377. I had a 73 that was that same color. That's why I said that. This little Vette looks like it's up to something here. This one's a legend. 1989 Snake Skinner 2 Corvette. It's an LT5 engine. Remember, that's the 90 to 95 ZR1 engine. So right at 400 horse. Did it in 1188. And in 1989, that car was smoking. Oh, here's another cool one. You wouldn't think anything special about this car. ZR1 active suspension prototype. Only 2 remain of this car. You get to see such crazy stuff in here. Okay. Now, the one cool thing about this place, well, another cool thing about this place, is they have new shows all the time. Going on right now, it started in March. This is the first week of May 2023. Custom Carisma. The legendary creations of Carl Casper. These are like the days of when they put all that angel hair under the cars at the car show. And stuff like that. I challenge you to tell me what the heck that started out as. The Cosmic Invader. I can't even tell you if there's 1 tire or 2 in the front. Look at that rear lighting setup. It's got a license plate on it. Holy crap. Can't see much out the back, but that whole center section comes up like a clamshell. I have a friend, Buddy, who probably knows every single thing about this car. Oh, that is so crazy down inside there. It's like a bench seat. Cosmic Invader, an electric car. Oh, electric. Look at the headlights.
This weekend, it's the event all America has been waiting for. 25th anniversary of Carl Casper's
Woo! That thing's wild. Oh, killer hot rod. 32 grill shell cut down, small block Chevy. 2 carbs. The Renegade Deuce 32. Ooh, I like that striping. A lot of parts on here that you're just not going to see anymore. You may as well see the interior. Striping on the dash. Oh, that's cool. Got the cage in it, a roll bar. Look at the covers on the spark plugs right down by the head. Ooh, the front tires and wheels. Front engine dragster. Back when you used to set your jewels right on, just right on the rear end that could explode at any moment. Supercharged Hemi on at least alcohol. Maybe nitro. Little push bar in the back. Look at that one little wheelie bar wheel down there. They're like, we're going to rely on you a lot today, little wheelie bar wheel. That blower is just polished so beautifully. Well, the whole engine, every square inch. The Bad Boy Deuce. Kind of a newer look there, some billet wheels, updated brakes, halogen headlights and stuff, smoothed body. Now this The Paddy Wagon. Some of you guys might have even had a Hot Wheels of this. They had one that was similar to this, and they had one that was red. And I had the red one. Got the brassy era components on there. That's cool. The little skinny Krager SS's. Police patrol. Striping can there. Wow. Oh, Jeezel. The popcorn wagon. Blower on top of a blower. Not a Chevy engine. I'll have to look on the other side and see what it is. The popcorn machine is still in the back. Look at those headlights. Alright, we'll see what the engine is over here. Pontiac Olds. Let me see. That 428 high performance Ford engine. Sorry guys, I know some of you guys are like, that idiot did not. Wow. Magneto has the clear wires on it. Oh, that's cool. Slicks. That sound effect is right above me of the popcorn machine. Now this one I saw from way out on the other end of the building. Started off as a mid-year Corvette. Like 63 to 67. The Turbo Shark. 327, 300 horsepower, and then at maximum output, the supplemental supercharger turbine rotor raised it to 700. What the hell? Turbine rotor? What? You could tell right around that window, the chrome trim in the front of the top there looks very C3, 63 to 67. The dash does too. But look at the way the door handle's made. Little button push. Yeah, that has such wild dimensions to it. Went to a couple of those as a kid. Wow, look at the blue up against the purple and the lilac. Dark gray. Called the Night Cruiser. Look what that thing does in this color out in this light out here. More just incredible graphics and striping back here. We just saw in a video from 2 days ago another 51 that's just in primer black. Here's what happens when you just get crazy with the paint. Finally in this room, maybe you've heard of this guy or seen that car. That's a big old beast. Looks like it could swallow your 3/4 ton truck. And Batman over there, what's up? Don't touch it, I'm Batman. And right there's the end of the tour. Now, one quick moment before we go to the car for those of you who watch this years from now. That's what a brand new Z06 C8 sounded like at an idle when it's a flat plane crank. He's not going to rev it in here because it would like break the building. These things, once you smack on it, you can smell the exhaust burning in. It's absolutely new. It was driven off the assembly line to this spot. These guys are having a good day. You having a good day so far? Yes. Man, I bet they are. They're going to drive right down through there and take off on this 73, 74 degree day with not a cloud in the sky in Kentucky. Thanks, guys, for coming along with me on this trip. Had a good time. I'm gonna have to hop back in my normal car. But I got the vets at home. Every time I come by here, I'm just humbled by the whole thing. So many people like these cars. So many people love these cars to the point where they've had dozens. But I'm back out on the road and we'll have another video tomorrow. I want to take a moment to thank you guys for watching. And what a day. Love this place. Went in Lexington, Columbia since 1948. Steak. Thank you. Thank you. Sweet, looks good. Thanks.